Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in a time where change is no longer optional, it's necessary. Whether in business, relationships, or personal growth, the old ways are being tested, and the future belongs to those willing to adapt, evolve, and push forward. The question is no longer, should we change? It's how fast can we embrace it? Change is uncomfortable, messy, and uncertain. But the truth is, everything great of every innovation, every breakthrough, every movement was born from a moment of discomfort. Growth doesn't happen in safe zones. It happens when we lean into the unknown, challenge what's familiar, and take risks that scare us. The problem isn't that change is hard. The problem is that we resist it. We cling to what feels safe, even when we know it's no longer serving us. But the reality is, the world keeps moving whether we do or not. And if we don't evolve, we get left behind. Now is the time to rethink what's possible, to stop playing small, to recognize that the future isn't waiting for permission, it's being shaped by those bold enough to step up. Change isn't something that happens to us, it's something we create. And the choice is ours. Will we watch from the sidelines or will we take action? Punch fear in the face. Fear is the single biggest thing that holds people back, not lack of talent, not lack of resources, not bad timing. It's fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of looking stupid. It's the invisible wall that stops people before they even start, keeping them trapped in a cycle of hesitation and regret. But here's the truth. Fear is a liar. It convinces you that worst case scenarios are inevitable when in reality, the biggest risk is doing nothing at all. Most people spend their lives waiting for fear to disappear before they take action. They wait to feel ready, to feel confident, to feel certain, but that moment never comes. The people who succeed aren't the ones who have no fear, they're the ones who act despite it. They acknowledge it, they feel it, but they refuse to let it make their decisions for them. Fear is loudest right before a breakthrough. That moment when you're about to take a risk, try something new, or step into something bigger, that's when fear screams the loudest. And that's exactly when you need to push forward. The only way to silence fear is through action. Every time you take a step forward, no matter how small, fear loses a little more power. The reality is, most of the things people fear never even happen. And even if they do, they're never as bad as the mind makes them out to be. The real failure isn't trying and falling short, it's never trying at all. The only way to move forward is to punch fear in the face and show it that it doesn't get a say in how you live your life. Obsession over perfection. Perfection is the enemy of progress. It's the excuse people use to justify inaction, to delay taking the leap, to avoid the discomfort of starting. The world isn't shaped by people who wait for the perfect plan, the perfect timing, or the perfect version of themselves. It's shaped by those who are obsessed with executing, learning, and improving as they go. The ones who win aren't the ones with the best ideas, they're the ones who actually do something with them. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple: action. While most people are stuck overanalyzing, tweaking, and waiting for everything to be just right, the ones who truly make an impact are already 10 steps ahead, figuring it out along the way. Obsession over perfection means valuing speed, iteration, and adaptability. It means being willing to put things out there before they feel ready, knowing that real growth comes from feedback, not from endless planning and isolation. It's about pushing forward even when things aren't polished, because momentum beats hesitation every time. The truth is, perfection is just fear dressed up as a noble pursuit. It tricks people into thinking they're being productive when in reality, they're just avoiding the risk of being seen, criticized, or failing publicly. But the ones who are obsessed with execution don't care about getting it perfect the first time. They know that greatness isn't built in theory, it's built in action, in repetition, in constantly refining through real world experience. Your past doesn't define you. Too many people let their past mistakes, failures, and missed opportunities dictate their future. They carry the weight of old regrets, allowing them to shape their identity and limit what they believe is possible. But the truth is, no matter what's happened before, no matter how many times you've fallen short, made bad decisions, or been knocked down, it has zero control over what you do next. The only reason the past holds power is because people keep looking back. They replay their failures like a highlight reel, convincing themselves that history will repeat itself. But the past is only a story, it's a reference point, not a life sentence. Every single day is an opportunity to rewrite it, to change the trajectory, to prove that you are more than the worst thing you've ever done. The biggest mistake people make is assuming that where they've been determines where they can go. The most successful people in the world weren't handed an easy path. They just refused to let their setbacks define them. They didn't dwell on what went wrong. They used it as fuel. They understood that failure isn't an endpoint, it's feedback, a lesson, a stepping stone towards something greater. The moment you decide that your past is just a chapter, not the whole book, everything changes. Growth isn't about erasing mistakes. It's about learning from them, evolving beyond them, and refusing to be trapped by them. The person you were yesterday has nothing to do with the person you can become today.